Are we finally canceling Earth? Is that what's happening? Have we reached the point of no return, the moment where the credits roll on the grand story of our planet? It certainly feels that way sometimes, doesn't it? Let's get straight to it. No beating around the bush, no sugarcoating the situation. We need to address the elephant in the room, the pervasive feeling that something is fundamentally shifting. Look around. Take a good hard look at the world around you. Observe the subtle cues, the unspoken anxieties that permeate the air. You can feel it, right? That underlying tension, that sense of unease that seems to be gripping everyone. It's palpable, almost a physical presence. There's this vibe, a sense of impending change, a feeling that the familiar is slipping away. That we're living in the season finale of humanity. The grand finale, the culmination of centuries of progress, struggle, and everything in between. Every day feels like a new disaster movie trailer. Each morning brings a fresh wave of alarming headlines, each evening a new reason to question the stability of our world. People are whispering, some are shouting, and everyone's Googling, frantically searching for answers, for explanations, for some semblance of control in a world that feels increasingly out of control. Are we living in the end times? It's a question that hangs heavy in the air, a question that fuels countless late-night conversations and anxious online searches. If this is the end, did anyone tell us what to wear? Because frankly, I'm feeling woefully unprepared for the apocalypse, sartorially speaking. I don't want to meet the four horsemen in my pajamas. That would just be mortifying. This isn't just a fringe theory anymore, relegated to the dark corners of the internet and whispered among conspiracy theorists. It's a mainstream mood. It's seeped into the collective consciousness, influencing our anxieties, our fears, and even our daily decisions. Your uncle shares a prophecy over Thanksgiving dinner, alongside the cranberry sauce and mashed potatoes. Your neighbor stocks beans, enough to survive a nuclear winter, or at least a particularly harsh Tuesday, and you wonder if you should learn to farm. Maybe it's time to trade in that office job for a plot of land and a hoe. The anxiety is real, a low-humming background noise to our lives, a constant undercurrent of worry that colors our perceptions and influences our actions. Headlines scream unprecedented, and we wonder what normal even means anymore. Has the definition of normal been permanently altered? Are we living in a new normal that's anything but? We're all just here, trying to figure out if the world's subscription is about to expire. Are we nearing the end of our trial period, facing the ultimate cancellation? The funny thing, this feeling connects us all, this shared sense of uncertainty, this collective anxiety about the future, no matter where we are. From bustling metropolises to remote villages, the feeling is universal. So, are we at the end of the line, or just at a really chaotic intersection? A point where multiple paths converge, where the future is uncertain, and the potential for both disaster and opportunity looms large. Let's unpack this. Let's dissect this feeling, examine its roots, and try to understand what's really going on. Because if we're going out, we should at least know why. We deserve to understand the forces at play, the factors that have led us to this point. Let's dive in. Let's explore the anxieties, the uncertainties, and the underlying truths that are shaping our world. So, what's on today's special? What's being served up on Apocalypse Buffet? It feels like we're constantly bombarded with a never-ending stream of crises, doesn't it? A smorgasbord of anxieties, if you will. Let's take a look at the menu, shall we? A quick glance at the headlines, a survey of the global landscape, wars and rumors of wars, the age-old classic but now seemingly everywhere. Conflicts erupting across the globe, tensions simmering just beneath the surface. It's a world on edge. Political instability, leaders who seem lost, unsure of the path forward, grappling with challenges they never anticipated, and a pervasive sense that nobody's really flying the plane, that the systems we've relied on are faltering, leaving us adrift. The environment is breaking up with us, floods where it should be dry, inundating regions unprepared for such deluges, droughts where it should be wet, turning fertile lands into arid wastelands. Weather's a moody teenager, one day scorching unbearable heat waves sweeping across continents, the next hailing golf balls, unpredictable, destructive, and frankly, a little bit terrifying. Cape Town's Day Zero wasn't prophecy, it wasn't some far-off apocalyptic vision, it was a water report, a stark warning based on scientific data, a glimpse into a very real and present danger. Then global pandemics, one-minute traffic, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, next minute lockdown, cities transformed into ghost towns, businesses shuttered, and a world holding its breath. baking bread, a collective return to simple comforts, a way to cope with the uncertainty, and hoarding toilet paper, a bizarre, almost comical response to a very serious situation. A tiny virus shut down the planet, bringing global commerce and travel to a standstill, and made us all amateur epidemiologists glued to our screens trying to decipher complex data and understand the unfolding crisis. Sprinkle in economic chaos, inflation, eroding purchasing power and making everyday necessities increasingly unaffordable. Disappearing jobs, leaving many struggling to make ends meet and facing an uncertain future. And a widening gap between rich and poor, exacerbating social tensions and creating a sense of injustice. It's not just one thing, it's not an isolated incident or a single crisis, it's everything all at once, a confluence of crises, a perfect storm of anxieties. We're juggling chainsaws on a unicycle, trying to maintain our balance in the face of overwhelming challenges. And that's why people keep looking up, searching for answers, for solutions, for some sign that things will get better. Asking, any day now? Is this the breaking point? When will this all end? No wonder we're anxious. It's a perfectly rational response to the world we're living in. Let's see if this is really new. Is this unprecedented, or have humans faced similar challenges in the past? Every generation thinks their apocalypse is the special one. The Black Death wiped out half of Europe. People thought it was the end. Yet humanity kept going. In Africa, the slave trade and rinderpest cattle plague shattered worlds, apocalypses in their own right. The 20th century brought world wars, the Spanish flu, and nuclear terror. Kids did duck and cover drills, families built bomb shelters. Every era has its own end times. Human history is a series of moments when people were sure the end was nigh. Our ancestors survived famine, plague, war, and more. They were champions of survival, navigating their own end times. So while today's challenges are real, remember, we've thought the credits were rolling before, only for a new scene to begin. Maybe we're not as unique as we think. Let's explore why we're so obsessed with the end. Why are end-of-the-world stories, these tales of societal collapse and global catastrophe, so popular? What is it about witnessing the fictional destruction of everything we know that captivates us so deeply? Is it a morbid fascination, or something more profound? Hollywood cashes in, of course. The entertainment industry recognizes our appetite for these narratives and consistently delivers them, often with spectacular special effects and star-studded casts. On our obsession, zombies, those relentless hordes of the undead that symbolize societal breakdown and the primal fear of contagion. Aliens, extraterrestrial forces that represent the unknown, the potential for hostile encounters, and the humbling realization of our place in the vast cosmos. Disasters, natural or man-made, these cataclysms expose our vulnerability to the forces of nature and the consequences of our own actions. These stories give chaos, the seemingly random and senseless destruction, a cause, a reason, often personified in a villain or a force of nature, providing a target for our anxieties, a timeline, a sense of urgency and impending doom, creating suspense and driving the narrative forward, and a hero. Someone to rise against the odds, to fight for survival, and to restore order in the face of annihilation. They simplify our real anxieties, the complex and overwhelming fears that plague our modern lives, into a 2-hour, neatly packaged thrill ride, a cathartic experience where we can confront our fears in a safe and controlled environment. There's a weird appeal, an undeniable allure in the idea of a reset, a clean slate, a chance to start over, free from the burdens of the past, no more debt, the crushing weight of financial obligations lifted, no more traffic, the daily grind of commuting replaced by open roads and untamed landscapes, just survival. Stripped down to the essentials where our focus is solely on meeting our basic needs. In a post-apocalyptic world, the goals are clear: find food, shelter, avoid zombies, or aliens, or whatever the threat may be. End-time stories make us feel important, like we're part of something bigger than ourselves, witnesses to history's potentially earth-shattering grand finale. We get a front-row seat to the ultimate drama. They turn chaos, the overwhelming sense of disorder and unpredictability, into a story, a narrative with a beginning, middle, and end, with purpose. Even in destruction, there's a sense of meaning to be found. There's a thrill to it, like a roller coaster, the adrenaline rush of danger without real consequences, safe fear from the couch. We can experience the apocalypse without actually having to live through it. These stories are also warnings, cautionary tales about the potential consequences of our actions. What if we don't fix climate change? What if we let division win? These narratives hold a mirror to our society, highlighting our flaws and vulnerabilities. They're not just about the end, the spectacle of destruction and the downfall of civilization. They're about what we need to do to avoid it. They serve as a call to action, urging us to address the issues that threaten our future. But it's not just fiction. These themes of apocalypse and renewal resonate far beyond the realm of movies and books. Religion has, for centuries, its own take. Many faiths incorporate narratives of cosmic battles, divine judgment, and the ultimate fate of humanity. Let's look at what some of the big faiths say. How do they envision the end, and what lessons do they offer for navigating our present? Religion has always offered frameworks for the end. Christianity's Book of Revelation, epic battles judgment and a new world. Islam's Day of Resurrection, signs of moral decay, conflict and the return of Isa. Judaism's Olam Haba, not fiery destruction but a transition to a messianic era of peace. For some, chaos is a sign of the end. For others, it's the birth pangs of a better world. Interpretations vary. Some take prophecies literally, others see them as symbols of ongoing struggle and transformation. Religion gives us language for hope and warning, but no single answer. But faith isn't the only source of wisdom. Let's hear from Africa's own traditions. Long before imported religions, African cultures had their own ways of understanding cycles of creation and destruction. The greatest sin? Disrespect of elders, community, ancestors, and land. When balance is lost, youth mocking elders, leaders stealing, land exploited, elders warn of calamity. The ancestors turn away, the land stops giving. It's not supernatural punishment but natural consequence. You reap what you sow. Droughts and disasters are seen as signs the community is out of balance. The solution isn't just technical, it's restoring harmony through ritual and change. The end times here mean a breakdown of sacred relationships, but renewal is always possible. The world can fall apart, but it can also be put back together if we return to the right path. We're not helpless. We can restore balance through our actions. This wisdom is more relevant than ever. The idea of the world ending travels fast. Prophecies go viral, climate fears cross continents. Fear is a universal language creating a strange unity. We may disagree on everything else, but we all worry about the future. In Africa, end times narratives blend pastors mix. Revelation with local prophecy, taxi chats link corruption to both Christian and ancestral warnings. People create a mosaic of belief drawing from global and local sources. But this flow of ideas has a downside. Misinformation spreads panic and division. Fake prophecies can cause real harm. The same tools that connect us can amplify anxiety. So we must be critical thinkers. Who's telling this story and why? Is it meant to empower or just to scare? Let's shift from fear to action. The world feels on fire, but what do we do with that feeling? Fear motivates, but it's a terrible long-term strategy. If you believe you're doomed, you're less likely to try and fix things. What if these aren't end times, but times trying to teach us? Maybe the apocalypse is a slow process. Old ways dying, making room for something new. The pain and chaos could be birth pangs of a better world. This shift moves us from passive victims to active agents. Hope isn't naive, it's practical, gritty, and gets its hands dirty. Real hope is in small acts, organizing, teaching, innovating, helping neighbors. These acts defy the narrative of doom. So what's next? Are we living in the end times? Honestly, no one knows. Maybe the prophecies are true, or maybe we're just living through hard, transformative times, like every generation before us. The future isn't a movie, it's a story we co-write every day. The script isn't finished. Obsessing over the end can make us forget the present. The most meaningful thing we can do is invest in now. Build resilient, just compassionate communities. Humanity's story is a series of cliffhangers, but a new season always begins because people choose to act. The challenges we face are our cliffhanger. The real question, what will you do tomorrow? Be paralyzed by fear or motivated by hope? Be an audience member or help write the next scene. The ending isn't written yet. We're holding the pen. Let's write a good one.